I looked around to see classmates grinning and agreeing with Diana. I pressed my lips together as I listened further. I had no choice.
What's even funnier about human beings is that some of the bits of history we hear is either made up or completely biased to one side. It's like a story you read as a child. You hear of the princess and the prince, and they live happily ever after. But what about the family she left behind? What of her friends?
The students listened and agreed intently to her words. I could tell, however, that these words were all targeted at me.
The original story of The Little Mermaid, a perfect example of biased opinion. Here we have a girl who thinks she can be with this prince, but this prince has to marry a princess.
Yeah, I know the original story of The Little Mermaid. The original ending of The Little Mermaid was not that happy.
What would happen if the mermaid had her way? What makes the mermaid so important that the princess has to suffer the consequences?
Whatever. It doesn't matter what happens to the princess. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna troll her the whole way through. The rest of the class turned. It doesn't matter what happens to the princess. The rest of the class turned to their heads to me. Naomi and Suzu looked at me with equally surprised looks. I kept my eyes on Diana. I am challenging you all the way through. I am not backing down. If I was the mermaid, I wasn't gonna let the princess take my prince away. Diana stared at me before smiling and turning her body to fully face me.
Oh? And why does it not matter?
Because your mom. The story isn't about the princess. The story is about the mermaid and the prince.
But that is exactly my point. While the story talks about the mermaid and the prince's romance, we don't see the problems of the kingdom the prince rules. While we are all fixated with this love story, we ignore the fact the kingdom would fall apart without the marriage between the prince and princess.
Says you? Why would it fall apart? You're not forward-thinking enough, though. Not forward-thinking at all. She kept her eyes on me as she spoke. I knew she wanted to make her words stick in my mind, but I didn't listen. It was one thing to be a fictional story. It was another to try to ruin someone's life for selfishness. Diana chuckled and looked back to the class.
Well, luckily in the real story of The Little Mermaid, the mermaid knows that what she was doing was wrong, and she threw herself into the ocean, turning into sea foam.
Some of the students that surrounded me mumbled in surprise, obviously not knowing the real story. However, Diana was wrong once again. That's not true. Once again, the class looked at me, and Diana faced me with another smile.
Not true. How so?
The trade-off for becoming human was marrying the prince or turning into sea foam. However, she was also given the choice to kill the prince and turn back into a mermaid. The mermaid didn't because she loved him and sacrificed herself for that love. That is a story worth telling, not some princess getting her way, but of a tragedy that had befallen on a girl who only wanted to love. Take that, sister! Oh, sassy Hark is coming out again. These kind of games brings it out to me. The class applauded me, with Suzu giving me her usual punch to my shoulder and Naomi smiling at my logic. Diana, however, finally grew an almost angered face at me. So I think that would be 1 for me, at least. Maybe 2 for me, and like 0 for you, as far as I'm concerned.
Interesting. So what you are saying is that the princess should be given no
Princess is a princess. She's going to find someone else.
She's got the money, she's got the fame. The princess is gonna be fine.
The story is not about the princess. The story is about the mermaid, and the mermaid should have gotten her prince.
Even at the risk of a kingdom falling apart?
You're the one who thinks the kingdom's gonna fall apart. Even if the entire world fell apart around them, duty does not overrule love, and the princess needs to realize this. The applause that followed that intensified with whoops and hollers. I felt a wave of confidence roll through my body. Do you really want to do this again? Do you want to do this more, Diana? Come on. I dare you. Do this. You might be all powerful and hoity-toity in your realm, but you're in my neighborhood, honey. You are in my world. And in my world, don't expect to have the upper hand. Diana wasn't going to win. I wasn't going to let her. Diana then stopped talking and looked at the clock on the wall, reading it quickly. This class had barely begun. Why was she looking at the time? Diana then leaned against the blackboard and smiled to us. I became worried.
You know what? School isn't important. Everyone, go ahead and head home.
Good, so I can go up
Take
and...
the week off.
Good, so then I can punch you in the face. The students suddenly began to chat happily or in confusion of the situation. Many thought it was a dream come true. Others knew better. Before anyone could protest, however, Diana pressed a finger to her lips and counted down with her fingers in the air. 3, 2, 1. Oh no, is she going to torture these people? The speakers of the classroom gently awoke, giving us an announcement we would never believe.
Attention students! Due to an emergency faculty meeting, we will be closing school for the remainder of the day and this entire week. Please leave the school quickly and quietly and have a good rest of the week.
She used her powers on them. I feel I need to stop her, but how can I stop a demon in the middle of a public area? Diana smiled before gesturing to the door.
Have a nice week off. School will resume next week.
This isn't over, honey. Many of the students filed out, chatting to each other about new impromptu plans. Susie was beyond happy, but Naomi was hesitant. Ever the better student. Before we could pack up and leave, however, Diana stepped to us.
Excuse me, little miss. I'd like you to stay a little while. There's something we need to discuss.
Oh, funny, because I was about to tell you the exact same thing. As Diana looked to Suzu and Naomi, she snapped her fingers, making my friends tense up.
You two can head home. Don't worry about your friend until next week, okay? If you contact her, she won't reply, so don't bother. If she contacts you, ignore her, because she's just fine.
Okay, miss, my voice sounds like a 1-900 number. Let's see what you got. As if on command, Suzu and Naomi left the room. I tried to march after them, but Diana stepped in my path, warning me with her eyes that if I followed, there would be hell to pay. I had lost my two friends, at least for the week. Diana and I were alone, just like she wanted. What she doesn't realize is that's what I wanted, too. I slammed my hands on the desk in front of me and glared at Diana. What are you doing and what are you thinking?
What? Do I not make a good teacher? I figured you should have a little lesson, so I took matters into my own hands.
Well, too bad, but it looks like I was the one who schooled you, Missy. Whatever you're trying to do won't work.
You really think so, dear?
Oh yeah,
And what makes you so sure about that?
because your mom. What was making me so sure? Why was I so confident? Were the boys worth this? My thoughts began to fill with doubt. All the uncertainties about this whole ordeal began to cloud my mind. If the boys were ever found out, there'd be hell to pay. Was it worth it? What about Diana? What would she do to me? Would she make my parents forget about me completely? Would she ruin my friends' lives out of spite? My God, I felt stoned its confidence trying to fight back, but the heaviness of my thoughts began to dissolve that stone little by little. What was going on with me? I looked up to Diana once again to see her gaze boring into my eyes. She was using her powers on me. This time, I was away from home, so I couldn't escape. Or could I? Did I want to? The way she stared at me made me feel warm and fuzzy inside my chest. I felt like melting. Diana lifted a hand under my chin and ran her thumb over my lips, licking her own. I could feel little shots of energy zipping from under my skin into my chin where she held me.
Now, let's have a little taste of that sweet, virginal sexual energy.
Really now? I watched as she leaned in, ready to kiss me and take my energy. Half of my body felt elation at the idea, but the other half completely rejected it and didn't want her to even touch me. Damien, wrong name. Use the other name. Suddenly Diana stopped in her tracks.
Damien? Who is...
It then dawned on her.
Ah, one of the boys. Why don't you tell me which boy is Damien?
I felt myself nodded in compliance. The youngest. Damien's the youngest? Wait, Damien is younger than Matthew? Really? Diana giggled in reply before letting go of my face and stepping back.
Really? The bastard's son with you?
Oh, here we go. I nodded once again, but this time it was partly my own decision to reply. Diana let out a sound that mimicked a cat's purr before stepping away from me.
All right then. Well, if it's the youngest son you're infatuated
Ho
with...
ho ho ho. Tani, that is your death wish. Diana chuckled before kissing my nose, where I felt a shot of energy zap out of my body, almost making me dizzy and recoil. Diana then turned to the desk and sat on the wood, crossing her legs.
You can go now. Remember, no class for the rest of the week.
Yeah, thanks for not killing me. convenient, but that's okay, I'm not questioning it. And how am I supposed to get home? My 2 friends left me here thanks to you.
Oh, were they your ride? My apologies.
Oh gosh, no, I'll walk.
Let me help them.
I'll walk. No, you know what? I'll call Uber. I've got my phone. I'll Uber. Oh, fine. Diana then lifted her hand and snapped her fingers. I suddenly felt the floor sink from underneath me, forcing me to look down. A purple pentagram surrounded my feet, pulling me into the ground. Whoa! Whoa! Before I could fight, however, I sank fully into the floor, fading into the darkness and shutting my eyes. As I opened them, I felt silk sheets surround me, soothing my anxiety from the darkness that had previously surrounded me. What the... Why did Diana bring me home? Was this an illusion? Was I being tricked? Something was going on. I sat up in bed, looking around me. I was indeed in my room. There was no mistake about that. Why? Diana is too strange. Was this a game? Was this part of her plan to get the boys back? I was lost and confused more than ever, despite my logical thought trying to piece the puzzle that Diana's together. The more I tried to solve her, the less I understood about the situation I was in. I was interrupted, however, by my door suddenly opening, revealing the boys with Damien's hand on the doorknob.
Miss, what are you doing here?
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
I furrowed my eyebrows and stared at Damien, asking him to answer their question through my thoughts.
Diana sent her back here. She invaded her school and sent all the students back home.
What is that bitch up to? Seriously! Diana's playing around for no reason.
Maybe it's part of her plan.
The boys continued to argue back and forth about Diana, feeling an almost jealous curiosity on me. Damien seemed to be too deep within the talking to notice my thoughts, or he didn't even stop talking alongside his brothers. Why was Diana after them? Why did she want to bring them back? What was so important about the boys that she could travel to the human world to get them? That she would travel to the human world to get them? What was going on? I decided enough was enough. I needed answers. Hey! The boys stopped arguing, staring at me in surprise. I held my hands in fists on my lap, mustering the courage to continue to speak despite my abrupt shout. Why is Diana here? Why does she want to bring you all back? What exactly did you all run from? Why did you run from it?
Miss,
Don't miss me. Please, I need to know what is going on. I won't be left in the dark about this. I want to know what I'm facing. The boys looked at each other, hesitantly, unsure what to reply. Finally, Sam pushed Damien towards the bed, making him buckle and land on his knees and his torso over the edge of the mattress.
Damien, do the thing.
The thing? The thing? What thing?
Sam, you're not suggesting.
Why not? She deserves to know everything, especially if Diana is targeting her.
Sam's right.
I guess we have no choice then.
What are we doing? I was getting confused. What was Damien about to do? Damien stood before climbing onto the bed with me, sitting across from me on his knees.
We're going to show you everything. You have to trust me, okay? The minute you stop trusting me, the vision will stop.
Fortunately, I do trust Damien. I trust Damien a lot, so... Vision?
Just trust me.
I trust you. I looked at Damien, unsure of what was going on, but I nodded. This was the one way to learn. The only way to learn, and this was my chance to know. Damien gently placed his hands on each side of my head, gently pressing his thumbs into the skin above my eyebrows. I could only stare at Damien as his eyes began to glow gold, and energy began to both pulled out of me and forced into my head. Within seconds, my vision went black once again. I was unsure of what Damien was doing, but soon shapes and textures slowly began to appear around me. I found myself sitting on a stone floor in the middle of what looked like a fantasy throne room. Where am I? I looked down at myself to stand only to see my body as translucent as a ghost. Whoa! I jumped up and inspected my hands in a sudden panic. I was see-through. Why? What was going on?
How dare they try to negotiate with me? Do they not know whom they speak to?
I gasped and ran behind a nearby pillar away from the voice, but I think I'm invisible. I don't think they can see me. The sound of his anger and words frightened every bone in my body, turning me into a frightened child.
My lord, please calm yourself. Calm? They're merely testing my resolve. I have more than half of a mind to send my greatest armies to take what should be mine. They are mere insects in the way of my kingdom's expansion.
They merely asked for a marriage joining.
So I'm to bow to them and share my land that I have so rightfully conquered?
Whoa, hello. Mr. Mr. Tumnus. Not really Mr. Tumnus. I peeked from behind the pillar to see a large demon covered in royal clothes, but the abs, man, the abs. I'm sure Damien has abs too, but covered in royal clothes, but buff enough to be a military commander. His rage practically emanated from his body as he growled at his servant.
They are willing to give their land to you, sire. All they ask is for one of your sons to marry their daughter, whom I might add is as beautiful as can be.
I see.
This is ridiculous! To suggest that I need their approval to take their land is beyond insanity. What makes them think I care about their precious daughter?
Did I mention that she is a prodigy of her kind, sire?
A prodigy?
Yes, my lord. This succubus is a master of her skills in magic and mind manipulation. She is said to sway armies with a snap of her fingers, despite being as young as she is.
Impossible!
If only it were, sire. This succubus is dangerous, but would be a great asset to have should we agree to this arrangement. The only reason she cannot faze you, my lord, is because you are the strongest demon in the plains.
Is this supposed to change my mind?
Yes, my lord.
You are doing a terrible job at convincing me.
My apologies, sire.
I was lost. I could tell that they were talking about Diana, but why?
Father.
I quickly turned my head to see another demon, who looked like a mere child, staring at the demon commander on the throne. Is that Matthew? Father?
Ah, Raystrow. Have you finished your training?
Raystrow.
Yes, Father.
Is that Matthew?
Then what do you want?
I want to be with my brothers the best of the day, Father.
The demon commander walked to the young demon and gripped his hair, picking him off the ground and forcing him to look up at his snarl. The young demon, however, looked unfazed.
Arrogance! Why should I allow you to be with them? I should kill you for your lack of respect to me.
Kill your own kid, wow.
Because I want to be with them, Father.
I could only stare as the young demon faced his father, despite the massive difference between them. This young demon seemed weaker and easy to kill versus the demon commander. Why would this man kill his son, though? Was this commander that ruthless? However, I wasn't expecting him to laugh and release the young demon.
Good! Assertive even in the face of danger. That is why you are my favorite son.
I could only stare wide-eyed as the commander placed his hand on the demon's shoulder.
Very well. Go. Tomorrow, you will show me your training.
The little demon grinned widely before running off.
I have a thought.
Yes, my lord?
How old is this daughter?
As old as your 5th, sire.
Do you believe this proposal is worth it?
Yes, sire.
Tell those insects that they are safe for now. I will consider their offer.
Oh gosh, she's trying to get married to one of them.
Sire, are you certain?
Did I stutter? Now go!
The demon servant quickly ran off, but as soon as he passed the pillar I was hiding behind, he, along with the commander, vanished into thin air. What happened? I didn't get the time to try to figure out before a demon who looked around my age walked into the room reading a book. Is that...
Raystrow, your nose is stuck in those books. Will you not lift your head up from them once in a while?
Huh? That voice. I circled around the pillar to see a second demon leaning against another pillar and smirking at Raystrow.
Aren't you supposed to be with your mother practicing the harpsichord?
I am, but I had a feeling that you were in danger.
In danger? What are you...
Attack!
All of a sudden, 3 shadows zipped through the room and slammed at the Raystro, forcing him to fall to the ground and drop his book. As the sight cleared for me, there were 3 other demons and a dog pile with Raystro at the bottom.
Get off! No way! You haven't had a break in months from those stupid books. It's time for punishment!
Death by brotherhood! No more reading!
I told you that you were in danger.
I suddenly knew who those demons were. It's the boys. Took you long enough, Parkura. Even in the demon world, their brotherly connection was astounding. They were merely younger versions of themselves. One of the demons, who I assumed was Matthew, grabbed the book from the floor and opened it, reading it mockingly.
How can you read this, Raystro? It's all about war strategy. It's boring.
I have to, Zakaru. Get off!
Oh, James is Ray Strode. Of course, the oldest. Okay.
There's only one thing you need to know about strategy. Kill them all. Take no prisoners.
You sound just like father.
Oh, Damien's not in here, though. I couldn't help but giggle. It was cute to see them acting childish with each other. Eventually, James managed to push his brothers off of him to stand, Bruce brushing himself off. I wonder if they're not in their human form. I wonder if I'm seeing them in their demon form.
You all are reckless.
But I'm not reacting to it, though.
At least we have fun.
It's true. You haven't been with us in weeks. Don't you think it's time for a break?
I'm sure Father won't mind.
But I have to...
I know you want to, Raystro.
Damn it.
What is going on here?
I shot my head to the voice to see the commander, aged a little, staring at the boys with his arms across his chest. Damien quickly dashed and hid behind Sam. Oh, because Damien's the youngest. Peeking over his shoulder to see the large commander.
Nothing is going on. We just passed by each other.
Then why does your brother have your book?
I was showing him what I was learning, Father.
Return to your studies, Raystrow. The rest of you out of my sight. Do not disturb your brother again.
I could only stare as James gently took his book and, without looking at his brothers, returned to reading. The commander walked past the remaining brothers, growling at Sam and Damien before leaving the room. What was up with that?
Don't worry about it. We'll find a way to get him back.
I don't know. He's on a very tight leash. Ezreal, you're quiet. What did you hear?
He's going to a negotiation meeting. He's going to arrange a marriage.
A marriage? For who? It must be for one of us.
He hasn't decided who will marry her. It's a girl from a kingdom he wants to take over.
But that's uncharacteristic of him. Usually he'd just attack with the army.
Whatever the case is, one of us is getting married. I hope it isn't me.
What about Raystro? He's the eldest.
It would make sense, but having a succubus marrying one of us means that she'll be practically married to all of us.
Great.
Well, what should we do?
Before the conversation could continue, the boys vanished into thin air, fading into different colored mists. They were replaced by an older Damien and Matthew, sitting with each other in the middle of the throne room.
Do you think we should?
Look, it's their demon forms. Matthew looks kind of cute. Look, he looks so adorable in his demon form, kind of. And Damien he's got art, as in like my Qunari Inquisitor. He's got like art horns. He's got cute blue horns. My gosh. Even though these guys are demons, they did a pretty decent job of still making them look like approachable. You know, not like demons.
I really want to.
I want to as well. Still, it'll be hard to convince Raystro, since he's the one about to be married and he's the favorite. Do you think
I really want... We don't know that, Zakaru. Maybe she's set to marry you.
No way! I don't want to get married.
I don't think you'll have a problem with that baby face of yours.
Oh, I looked over to see Sam looking good too. I looked over to see Sam join the duo, crossing his arms and raising an eyebrow at his brothers.
What are you two talking about?
We got into contact with the human world again.
Come on, Ezreal. You give humans too much attention.
No way! You gotta listen! They apparently have stores and books and schools and stuff!
So what? It's full of humans who piss on each other for no reason. They're no better than the devil spawn.
Nuh-uh! The one we were talking to wasn't like that!
How do you know, Zakaru?
Because I do!
What is going on here?
Hey, James.
They want to go to the human world.
The human world?
Raystro, think about it. You won't have to marry that girl and be the heir anymore. You could be with us, and we can make lives for ourselves in the new world.
Now you're just talking nonsense.
I vote that we do it.
Huh? Oh, not you two.
Think about it. This may be our chance to finally get away from this political nonsense we're stuck in. We may be nobles, but we're still our own beings.
Well, only 4 of you guys are.
Raystro is in.
What? Azrael!
Woo! So how do we get there?
Are you kidding me? You don't even know how we'd get there.
A simple spell should work, but it would require someone from the human world to help us get there.
We can ask him.
Oh, he'd definitely help us.
I'm not so sure about...
Reistra, aren't you tired of pleasing Father all of the time?
Oh, this sounds so familiar. It hits close to home.
I am, but...
If you stay, you'll be married off and become ruler of Father's kingdom. You'll have no time for yourself or with us, and you'll be constantly at war with the other realms for power. You'll most likely turn into the spitting image of Father.
No, we can't have that.
What he's saying is, get your head out of your ass and let's go. If you don't say yes, I'll drag your princely ass with us. I don't care what that bastard of a father wants.
Come on, Raistero.
All right, let's do this. What's the plan?
No, it makes sense. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was seeing the history of their lives. See, history is important, Diana. They were nobles and James was the heir to the kingdom the commander ruled. Even more so, he was going to be married to Diana. They sacrificed everything to leave and be together. They'd rather be free than remain in their noble roles. I started to feel a little jealous. They were able to leave while I was still expected to be what my father wanted me to be. How they were able to leave was uncertain still, but I knew I would learn in time. I closed my eyes and mentally asked Damien to end the vision. As soon as I asked, the world around me slowly vanished, and I was brought back to the bedroom where I sat with my head nestled in Damien's hands. My vision began to clear, letting me fully see the boys around me, all with concerned faces.
So, you now know exactly who we are.
Diana is the girl you arranged to marry?
Not anymore. Once we left, the arrangement was broken. With no sons to marry off, her dad couldn't go through with the marriage deal.
So why is she here now?
If Diana is here for us, that means she's trying to save her kingdom from being attacked.
That's not true. She wants to rule our kingdom. Having one of us will give her the right to our kingdom as much as we'd have right over hers.
So she's a gold digger.
She's a gold digger.
Well, with a kingdom like ours, what succubus wouldn't want to marry us for it?
It all made sense. She wanted them so that she could finally take over an opposing kingdom. She knew that, despite her powers, she wouldn't be able to fight against their father, so she had to find another way in. That manipulative... Before I could continue, I felt my head suddenly get heavy and dizzy. I gripped my head, mewling under my breath. What the...
I took too much. I'm so sorry.
Rest now. There's no need to do anything more today.
Thank you, James. The boys suddenly rushed over and helped me lay down as my vision was painted with white polka dots. I needed sleep badly. Instantly, I closed my eyes and let darkness consume me. After what seemed like hours, I finally woke up, slightly refreshed. My body knew that if I slept any longer, I'd be up all night, which was not part of the plan of the day. I rubbed my eyes and sat up, letting a soft groan escape my lips. In response, something beside my bed shuffled, causing me to look over. I didn't know what I was expecting. Beside me, sitting in a chair beside the bed, was Damien, rousing himself up to see me awake. I smiled at him, seeing his slightly ruffled hair and tired eyes.
Oh, you're awake. How do you feel?